This
yeah,
is
no
an
worries.
interview with Chris Monroy on Sunday, October 24th, 2021 by Nick Burkell. Now, Chris, what have been some of your recent shows like in the past year?
Well, I mean, just like everybody else, we haven't really been up too much just because of the whole pandemic. But we did actually play a couple of shows. I think we played our first show back maybe like 2 months ago or 3 months ago here in LA with this band Sabalba. And that was really fucking cool. It was like our first show back since probably a little over a year. And it was our first show with I guess like, oh well, I think the only difference was Pierce, our new drummer. So it was the first show with him. So it was really cool. Everything went really well. It was really really fun to get back up there and and see everybody again. But yeah, it was great, man. And then we've had a couple of shows since then. I think we played. I think it was about a week or 2 weeks ago. We played in. We did a Petaluma with Municipal Waste, and then we did a couple of shows up to Vegas. I think we did a Bakersfield, and we played here a local show in LA, in the OC, and then we played the Sin City Slaughter Fest. That was the last show, and yeah, man, all the shows have been great. The Municipal Waste show, obviously, ruled. All the shows we played, we did a tour with them back at. I think the last tour we did was with them and Enforcer and Toxic Holocaust back at the end of 2019, and yeah, all the shows we've done with them have always ruled. So yeah, that show we did with them in Petaluma was killer. But yeah, man, it's been great. We're just super stoked to get back out there and play this new album because yeah, as soon as we released this album, the pandemic started and we haven't really had a chance to get out there and play it. So we're super stoked to get back out there next month, and yeah, everything's been cool.
Now, how has the last year been for your band, and how often have you guys been keeping up with practice sessions?
Practice sessions have been a little more complicated than than usual. The obvious reason being that Pierce is from Portland, so he doesn't come. He doesn't get it. We don't get a chance to meet up as often as we would like to. But with the lineup we have now, every person that's in the band is very solid, and I think that's an issue we had with the last lineup. Like people, either we were closer to each other. Everybody was pretty much local for the most part, but it seemed like like most of the people that were in the band wouldn't take like we even though we were closer, we would practice less, but we would also practice less as like musicians. Like we would have a lot of trouble with with some of the members. They wouldn't like do their homework. They wouldn't go home and actually work on the stuff. They would leave it till like the last minute until we actually would get together and practice, which kind of sucked. And with the musicians we have now, everybody's on top of their stuff, and like they're everyone practices on their own. So when we actually get together as a band, everything's really solid. Unfortunately, we're not able to practice as much as I would like to, but I don't really think it's necessary, just because, like I said, the musicians that are in the band now are like on top of their shit, and yeah, we only get together like either right before a show or like if we're gonna start like we've been working on new music, so Pierce has been coming like every now and then to come down and well, most of the music gets written by me and Mike, and then we'll write it together to a drum machine, and then we'll send it to Pierce. And when Pierce comes down, we rehearse, and he puts his own input into the tracks and like his drum parts. So that's kind of how it's been going. But yeah, we get together probably every once every couple months, maybe like if there's like shows back to back, then we'll obviously see each other a lot more. But if there's no shows or anything, we'll probably see each other like maybe once every month or every couple months.
Now, from what you have seen, what have been some of the best local shows put on in California this year?
You know what? I haven't really been going out too much to shows. As much as I would like to, I just don't have the time. I'm a father, so most of my time I spend it with my family and my kids. But I'm trying to think, what was the last show that I went to? I don't think nothing comes to mind, to be honest, that anything recently that I've gone to, shows that we've played. But I know there's been The LA scene's great. There's shows all the time. I think DSI just played, and um, there's shows all the time. But unfortunately I just haven't had a chance to like make it out to any shows. I'm just completely busy at the moment.
Now, what kind of things have promoters told you about how your upcoming tour will be different than pre-COVID tours?
I mean, obviously the main thing will be like the whole new mandate that like that's being passed or that has passed, that you either got to be vaccinated or show some sort of like negative test. I think 72 hours. That's like the only thing that I noticed that's going to be different from before. But besides that, there's not really anything they've mentioned that I mean, that's supposed to be different besides like the whole COVID thing, which is like wearing your mask and you know uh, all the shit we've been dealing with for the past year or so.
Now, are you doing anything differently on this tour compared to past years?
No, not at all. Everything's the same. At least that's the plan. I don't know if things will change, but yeah, everything's you know supposed to be the same. Get back out there, play shows, and come back home. Nothing really different. Um, and the only different thing is it's a bit of a different lineup from the last tour we did, but yeah, that's about it. There's no plans to do anything different. I mean, as far as like the band, like the performance, I mean, there's small things that we're inputting into like the more of like the part of the show, like you
Wait, you
know,
there? Can you
incorporate
repeat
like
that?
the aspect of the show, like more lights and fog machines and here in band or whatever. So that's the only thing I can say that's a little bit different. Besides that, um, as far as the band, yeah, tightest we've ever sounded. So yeah, I would just recommend come out to the show and check it out.
I see. Now, since the release of Entombment of Chaos, have you been able to write any new songs?
Sorry, you cut off a little bit. Can you repeat that?
Oh, yeah. Since the release of Entombment of Chaos, have you been able to write any new songs?
Yeah, I haven't really like sat down, and I mean, me and Mike are all we're like 5 minutes away from each other, so we see each other all the time. So as of recently, we haven't really got together much, just because we have a lot of shit going on. And specifically me, I have a lot of family stuff going on, so I haven't really had the chance to meet up and write stuff. But we have about 3 songs written that we've been working on since we stopped working on music, or since the album was released. We shortly after that started working on some new stuff, just because we weren't going to be touring any of that because of the whole pandemic. So yeah, we've been working on a couple of things. We're not sure what if those songs will be used or what they will be used for. If the next release, will be a full length, or we'll plan on. There's been talks about possibly doing like a short EP. So we're not too sure yet. But yeah, there's definitely new music being written.
Do you have any song titles picked out yet?
No song titles. That usually comes to the end, man. The way we write, usually we write the music first, and then we'll leave all the lyrics and all that to the end. So the titles don't come to possibly right before, right after we've recorded vocals, and then we start getting ideas for song titles. Sometimes it can be before, once we're writing the lyrics. But yeah, that's the last thing that comes for us.
Now, can you tell me what it was like recording for the bonus track on the Woe to the Vanquished album from Warbringer? I think you appeared on the Death cover and maybe one or two other songs.
Oh yeah. I was just part of the Death cover they did. I did some guest vocals on that, and I think I did solo too for that. And yeah, that was great, man. I'm good friends with Carlos Cruz. He's obviously worked with us in the past. He did our second record. We've been friends since I was like 17. When I was in Field by Fire and he was in Hexen. I think we might have played a show together. I don't know how we met, but yeah, we've been friends for a long time. And yeah, he just asked me if I'd like to be a part of it, and I couldn't say no. They're great people, great friends of mine. So yeah, it was great, man. I had a lot of fun.
Now, For this tour, can you tell me how long your set will be and a little bit about your set list?
Yeah, for the upcoming tour, it's a little bit. It's gonna change just because some of the dates we're doing are actually headlining dates, and some of the dates we're doing like support for Municipal Waste and Crowbar. So our set is going to be changing. You know, some shows are going to be longer, some shows are going to be shorter. So for the majority, for the longer sets at least, we're going to be playing a lot of the new material, just because like I said, we haven't had a chance to get out there and tour the new album. But you know, we'll be throwing in a couple of the old songs from each album. So it'll be a good mixture. And then for the short set, yeah, we're just gonna try to mix up at least a good chunk of each record on the set. But yeah, I think the longer sets will probably be a little under an hour, and then the shorter sets probably closer to 35 minutes.
I see. Now, care to speak about any of the merch you've got for the tour?
Yeah, we have a lot of exclusive like tour designs that we're making. We probably will announce them next week or something right before the tour, just so people can get an idea. But yeah, it's mostly based around the new record, designs off of that. But yeah, yeah, it's just like a bunch of tour stuff. We'll be releasing like different stuff, shirts. We'll be taking shirts, sweatpants. Yeah, a bunch of different shit. Too much to mention, but yeah, we'll be announcing some stuff definitely probably next week or so.
What is your favorite urban legend or ghost story from LA?
Shit. I don't know if I have a favorite one. Um, yeah, there's a bunch. I remember in the house that I grew up. I mean, it's not really like a popular one, but something that was like in the family. I remember when I was growing up, the house that I grew up in. I guess they would say that there was like some cowboy or something that would haunt the house, and I guess my mom and my dad like had a couple experiences of hearing like the boots like walking around at night. Like when my mom would go to the restroom in the middle of the night, like she would hear like somebody walking like with boots on, and I think my dad said he saw like a figure with like a cowboy hat once. That's how they got this whole idea of a cowboy haunting the house. But yeah, I mean, there's many. I mean, I don't know. That's the first one that came to my mind, but it's not really like a famous one or anything. It's just something that would happen where we grew up.
Would you like to go back to any questions?
No, not at all. Unless you would like me to.
No, I'm good. Final words?
Yeah, thanks for having me, and come out to the shows next month. We'll be touring from I think November 4th up until the end of November. Check our Facebook or Instagram or social media pages to see the the whole dates, and yeah, it should be fun. Thanks to anyone that's listening, and yeah, we hope to see you guys out there sometime soon. We're going to be doing a lot of touring next year, so hopefully we'll see everybody soon.
This has been an interview with Skeletal Remains frontman Chris Monroy on Sunday, October 24th, 2021 by Nick Burkell. Thanks a lot, Chris. I really appreciate it. Can you just give me a quick picture I can use for this?
Yeah, I'll get to it as soon as I can, dude. Possibly later tonight. I'll send you I'll find something and I'll send it over.
Cool, man. I'll Facebook you the email address, okay?
All right, perfect, man. Have a good one. Have a good
Thanks,
rest of
man.
your day.
Be safe. Adios.
Bye bye.